Okay, we'll get started. My name is Melissa Tintaklis. I'm the Economic Development Director, and this evening we are here. It is a business parking meeting. It's in December. Just a few months ago, the Board of Selectmen approved several changes to some of the parking regulations and programs within the center, and between the police department, planning department, and the economic development office, we've been working together to really communicate that out to employees and businesses. And part of the reason that we are having this meeting is really to just answer some of the questions. There's been a lot of changes, and the underlying goal is to make parking easier, not only for employees that are coming to town every day, but for the customers who are the lifeblood of Main Street. So it's really critical that they have a place to park, as they're a core of our center, vitality in the center of Lexington. Here with me this evening, I'll have them introduce themselves.
Thank you. Mark Corr, I'm the Chief of Police.
David Kucharski, Assistant Planning Director.
Thank you, David. So for this meeting, we got several, in terms of kind of notifying folks out, we put flyers out, we sent emails out to the listservs that police had, that we had through the Retailers Association, and we're holding 2 physical meetings. And also this evening, we have LexMedia that's taping some of the questions and answers to this presentation so that we can also post it on our website for those of you who cannot make it tonight. So instead of a formal presentation, what I wanted to kind of kick things off with is our new parking website. For those of you who don't already know, the town actually updated their whole website platform. So we have a new look and feel to our website in general. But in addition to that, we have our parking web page. It's a landing page. So ideally, anything you want to know will be on this page. And what I'd like to start off with is just taking you here to our parking management group. Real quickly, the idea is here, the parking management group has been a group formed by the Center Committee, and they were more or less a working group that started out saying, we're trying to address the needs of the parking, of our businesses and their parking conditions in the center. At peak times, it's too difficult, customers cannot find parking. We had different issues around employees having difficulty not only feeding the meter as a common occurrence, and other businesses seeing this happen. We tried to work together with the Center Committee. This was about a 10-year process, and what came out of that was a parking management plan. That plan was adopted by the Board of Selectmen last June 2014. And part of that plan had 29 interrelated recommendations. Small things: establish your website, create parking or public parking signs that are more visible for people to see as they're coming into town. And we got on those things immediately. The next thing was really looking at how we're pricing parking and the technology we're using for parking. Those were bigger initiatives. But last December, it's 2015, the Board of Selectmen reviewed a series of recommendations and approved what we're calling a pilot program for this next year. The pilot program is allowing us to install brand new meters along Mass Avenue. It's allowing us to work with employees to establish a new sticker program and shift away from some of the permit program that we had for the depot lot. And it's also looking at rates and how we can use the actual parking meter rate, that hourly rate, to encourage the distribution of parking across the center. Because parking is like anything else, it's, the most convenient spots are in high demand. So people tend to congregate to the center, right? So but what we're trying to do is through pricing, through better signage, show everyone how you can kind of distribute the parking throughout the center. And mostly for employees, because they're coming into the town every day. They're coming, most of them. We have obviously part-time employees as well, but they're real users of our parking in the center. So how can we best communicate to them where to park? So what I'd like to show you here tonight, did everyone get a little map like this? Okay. So this map, ideally, what we're trying to show on this back page, mostly in blue, thanks, Chief. This map is on our website. Let me try to get there too. Not there. Thanks. Dave will get there. It's on our website as well, but this is critical in terms of trying to communicate what's going on. If you look at the center map that has employee parking locations, you can see the blue locations are a little further out from the center. Then if you turn it over, you can see some of the brightly colored, more short-term parking in the core of the center. And that's what we're kind of big concept-wise. If you're here parking for a longer term, mostly employees come in, park once for 8 hours. Ideally, we can distribute that parking on the perimeter, just a little outside the core. Maybe a little walk is involved, but not strenuous. The idea is that if we can make accommodations on the periphery, that frees up that core parking for your customers and for the people who are coming in to do business in the center. That's the big concept moving behind here. So the idea is, when we'll go through this, Chief Corr will go through the sticker program, is that we've tried to reduce the prices for parking for employees. Effectively, the new rate is roughly, for most of them, $1 a day to park, whereas before it was roughly $2 a day. So if you're parking in any of these locations, roughly speaking, on most cases, it'll be about $1 a day. In the core, the meters will have a higher rate. They will have, in the very core, that orange line. If you're coming in for the most convenient areas around Mass Ave, it's 75 cents. It's a little higher. But the idea is to allow for more turnover, and we're also installing new meters, so it's going to be easier still to pay. Although the price has gone up, the idea of the convenience has also been elevated. So those are kind of like the new takeaways. Also, I wanted to share with you, because not everyone knows this, that those new meters in the Board of Selectmen had also approved a 15-minute grace period. So these new meters are going to allow you to hit a button, and if you're kind of in and out of the center, for 15 minutes you can do what you need to do without paying at that meter. And so at this point, we'll have March 1st, ideally, if we go according to schedule, we'll have new meters out on Mass Avenue, and all those will be equipped with the 15-minute free grace period. Thanks. Now, the way we designed this is trying to give you a brief overview. Some of you have been really familiar with this project. Some of you, this might be the first time you're hearing it. But ideally, we're just going to kind of go through the high level, which I've kind of explained to you, and then we'll get into questions and answers, really specific questions for anyone who's here tonight. So with that, I'd like, Megan, do you want to come up and show any more details on the website?
Thank you. Melissa showed the basic outline of the new website, but what I just wanted to show you is that all the documents that you are able to pick up today are available on the website whenever you need them. So if you just go to lexingtonma.gov/parking, you will come to our main parking page, and under Center Employee Parking Options, this is really the place to go if you need any documents, the sticker policies, the parking permit policies. These are some pictures of what the stickers will look like, and you're able to pick up any of the applications and documents you need, and once you complete them and you send them over to the police department, that's when you'll get your sticker. So everything related to parking should be here, from paying a parking violation, winter parking, overnight ban, to anything else that you would need for parking. So I think that's it for now.
Thank you, Megan.
and good afternoon. I think one of the primary reasons why planning and economic development are here presenting this as the lead speakers is a successful parking program is really a cooperative effort between the town and the business community. If our visiting public, our tourists, our customers can come to Lexington Center and find parking spaces, then they will stop and shop. Having been with the department over 32 years, having walked the center and issued parking tickets, I can tell you that it hasn't changed in 32 years, where the number of parking tickets I issued to a town employee who works in the center, or a center employee, could be counted on many hands. And every day, we would be writing parking tickets to employees who work in Lexington Center, parking at a meter. It just didn't make a lot of sense that your very employees are parking at the parking spaces that your customers have to park at. And for the police department, it can be an unpleasant enforcement experience, not only for the person receiving the parking ticket, but the confrontations that we often receive from individuals are unpleasant across the board. So, I think the input from the community was huge. The input from the business community was very important to say, listen, if you want our employees to park outside of the core area, give us some very reasonable places to go with reasonable expense. And I think that's what this program is trying to accomplish. We do currently have 2 stickers that we're going to be issuing in place of the flags, the parking permit tags. It was our observation that the parking permit program became very stagnant. The same people that bought them every year had first dibs to buy them the next year. We rarely had more than 2 or 3 permits available each year for anyone new. So those who had them were happy. Those who didn't were paying a premium price to park here in the parking lot behind us, or they parked at a parking meter. The parking sticker program was designed to do 2 things. A prepaid sticker is a sticker you'd buy for the entire year. It costs $250, roughly $1 a day. You put the sticker on your car, you drive into this parking lot that's directly behind us, the Depot Square lot, you pay nothing, you park all day, you come and go as you please. We've also built into this program that those who have a prepaid sticker could park down at the N-Star lot, which is all the way down at the end here, which used to be a permitted lot. The prepaid sticker would allow you to park on Waltham Street, where we'll have some all-day meters. So some of the businesses that are closer to Waltham Street, it may be easier for employees to get a prepaid sticker and park down on Waltham Street, to park over the N-Star lot. So we're dispersing some of the employees from the center area. The program includes free parking up towards the St. Bridget's area on Mass Ave, and then beyond the police station in the town lot on the far end, Fletcher Ave, Mass Ave, is going to be free parking. Again, to try to encourage employees and commuters to find a location away from the center core parking area. The other sticker we're going to give out is called a pay-as-you-go. It's intended for the Depot Square lot behind us. We believe it would be ideal for the part-time employee who may work once or twice a week. It's a $15 fee to get the sticker, and then you would pay $1 when you enter the lot behind us. Again, it would be $1 a day. What we've asked businesses to do and employees to do is we have a form to request those permits, those parking stickers. We're simply asking for your name, your plate, and proof of the business that you're working for. It could be a business card, it could be a letter from the business owner, you could be the business owner or the manager. As long as we have some proof that you are an employee in Lexington Center, we're going to give you the stickers. It's part of our program. We hope that should there be some folks with these stickers who want to consistently park at a meter and get parking tickets, it's our hope that we're going to identify these employees and then reach out to the store, reach out to the business, and let you know that your employees aren't really participating in the parking program. Your employee is parking at a meter, which is adversely affecting your business or your neighboring business. So part of this is an educational program as well. It's a program in works. The number of folks who have come through the police station the last couple of weeks to request these stickers are double, triple what we've seen before. So this is a learning curve for us. I think that's why it's a pilot. I would think that as we go through, we're going to find ways of improving upon the program. I think the other program had maxed out, had met its limit, and just no longer had the flexibility of dealing with what we were trying to do in Lexington Center. So this is, I think, a well-thought-out program, some excellent input from businesses, and it's our hope that we'll be successful with this program, and we'll improve upon it as need be. Questions? I'm going to give it back to you.
Yes. Thank you, Chief Core. That was great. Before we go into questions and answers, David, do you have anything to add at this point?
No, I'm curious.
Okay. Okay. So I will try to extend the microphone a little bit as far as I can here, because ideally we get your question on the microphone for the camera. Does anyone have a question right off the bat? Yes, Caitlin. If you don't mind to state your name, some of you I recognize, and then your place of business or kind of your relationship to the parking situation.
Sure. Caitlin Kelleher, the Lexington Minuteman. Our office is on Merriam Street. We have turnover in our office. How do we handle, if we wanted to do a prepaid sticker, do they transfer to the next employee, or how does that work?
Very good question. Those who had bought permits, it was the exact same process that we've dealt with year to year to year to year. You may have an employee that is paid for a sticker or a permit, and then they leave. We will work with you to transfer. We will reimburse somebody their money if they're only here for a partial year. We'll prorate a fee for somebody here who's here for a partial year. If somebody's window is smashed and they come through the door with a sticker with glass sticking to it, we'll make arrangements to replace the sticker. So we're willing to work with you. It was something that we did with the permits anyway. The stickers are a little bit more permanent when they put it to your window, but we receive questions like, what if I turn in my lease car? We've just asked somebody, scrape the sticker off, bring it into us, and we'll give you a new one. So we're not looking to make money off of every person who's coming and going. We will prorate, we will work with you. If something's stolen, we'll help you take care of that too, but it's not new for us. We did the same thing with the flags that everybody hung in the way. We did the same thing, so we're just continuing the same program. Other questions? I might as well just.
Hi, I'm Arthur Daltas. I'm a resident. You said this is a trial, so what's the time frame on that? What kind of data is being collected, and what are the metrics that you're going to be looking at?
Thank you for your question. Yes, we went to the Board of Selectmen in December, and the pilot program essentially is running from March 1 to 2016 to March 1, 2017. So it's a 12-month period. It's following the same timeline the police staff is used to issue permits. They're on an annual basis, and that's their effective date of their permit. So we are going to mimic that in terms of the trial period. In terms of, the metrics and trying to collect data, there's kind of a landscape of data that we're collecting from. First, we'll have the rollout from the smart meters along Mass Ave. The smart meters collect revenue data and periodic times, so you can run reports to see the activity of use based on revenue, essentially based on the people using the meter over time. We'll be looking at that. In terms of the information we're collecting for the stickers and we're continuing some of the permit programs in some of our different lots. We'll be collecting information and keeping communication open with the sticker and permit holders. We're going to have a check-in meeting with the Board of Selectmen in 4 months' time from effective March, so March, April, May, June, July. I think we're actually running into some summertime issues, so we're working on a date when we'll be meeting in front of the Board of Selectmen to do what we're calling a check-in. We're planning to do 2 of those to see exactly, are we making a difference with some of these changes? And particularly, we'll look at Mass Ave data and the sticker program data. And we're going to just try to keep, anecdotal data alive. Part of why it's been important for us to reach out to the business community through the process has been just really hearing input from them as well. And then lastly, we have the parking management group. This is the group I mentioned early on that had been formed as a working group from the center committee and now kind of works under the town manager, which is a group of staff, including DPW, planning, myself, as well as center committee, business owners, and residents as well. And we are we're trying to meet on a monthly basis starting next month, and we're going to kind of itemize and look at the metrics that we've laid out so far internally and review with them how we're going to make adjustments and see if this is working or not. So it's a little bit of a work in progress, but we're very aware of that's needed. Another question?
Nancy, and I'm over at the dental building on Wallace Court. And I may have missed this, and I apologize if this is asking something that's already been answered, but will the number of permits be limited, or is it just you want a permit, you get a permit?
The parking stickers will not be limited.
So if someone buys a ticket and buys a permit, will they be guaranteed a spot?
No.
So if there are no spots, can we park in the free parking? Can we park in the meter? How's this going to work?
I would say that the program hasn't changed significantly. Even when we issued parking flags, parking permits, that was not a guarantee for a parking space. Should the lot have been full, there was no guarantee that you'd have a space. Now, we had overflow to the N-Star lot for folks who could park there. So, one of the reasonings, one of the logics was to provide free parking up on Mass Ave and up by Fletcher Ave. We can tell you, I look out my window towards Fletcher Ave every day. There's at least 15, 20 permits sold. 30, how many? Sorry? 35 permits sold. At times, I would only see 5 vehicles in those spaces. So the logic was we shouldn't be selling permits for spaces that aren't being used. By making it free parking, by providing free parking up by St. Bridget's on Mass Ave, it's our hope that some of the folks who would ordinarily park in this lot, particularly commuters, will move towards the free parking. The prepaid sticker, by making available parking spaces on Waltham Street, by making available the N-Star lot, it's our hope that those folks who have the prepaid stickers will also disperse and go out towards Waltham Street, go down towards the N-Star lot, therefore relieving some of those who might ordinarily come to this lot. It's our belief that there was a lot of folks that may have been parking at meters that really shouldn't have been there. if they can also disperse out to these free and spaces where they can park all day, it will be better for this center area. We can't guarantee parking spaces. It's something we just can't fix. In the end, should Lexington Center be very busy, there's just not going to be enough parking for everyone. But that's the current situation. The hope is that more often, with employees and commuters parking away from the core areas, that there will be more spaces available in the center. But we can't guarantee a parking space.
So if I have a sticker and the lot is full, can I park in the free spot, or am I going to get ticketed? Can I park at a meter, or am I going to get ticketed?
Excuse me. If you have a prepaid sticker, you can park with no further payment the Depot Square lot, the N-Star lot, or down on Waltham Street. If you have a pay-as-you-go sticker and you come to this parking lot and it's full, you're still free to go to a meter that's an all-day meter, a 4-hour meter, and pay the meter for your time. Say the question.
They can all park in free parking.
Or free parking, or they could go.
Or they can be ticketed because they got a sticker and they're supposed to go someplace else.
Well, but part of something that we are hoping that businesses might start to tell their employees is a park, lock, and walk. Park a little further, lock your car, and walk. Usually the police department receives that kind of a question because there's a perception that walking a little further, particularly as it starts to get dark, is perceived to be a little bit more dangerous. I appreciate that. Perception is important, but I can tell you that Lexington has rarely ever had a physical assault on anyone in the last 10 or 15 years. It doesn't typically happen, but we do appreciate there's a perception that walking a little further in the dark is a little bit scary. But again, to answer your question, if somebody has a prepaid sticker, they have paid the $250 for the year, they can park for no additional expense down on the all-day meters on Waltham Street, the all-day meters at N-Star lot, or all day here. If they have a pay-as-you-go, they can park at all-day meters in other locations of the town, but they just have to put money in the meter.
Okay, so I guess my question was, if you're not limiting, if you have 100 spots and you're selling 200 tickets, and I come in and I'm, 110, and there's no spots available, am I going to be ticketed for parking at a meter with a $250 ticket, a permit? Can I park in the free? Can I park at a meter?
Do you want to?
You will, I think I can offer some clarity for what I understand. You can park in the free areas. Everyone is welcome to park in the free areas with or without a sticker. So if you're turned away from a lot where you have paid, which typically I would imagine you would want to use, if for some reason you are turned away, you could park in a free area. That's for everyone. You will also have the added bonus, and that's what Chief Corr is talking about, to park in the N-Star lot without feeding a meter, and in down Waltham past Vinebrook, in metered areas, metered spots. They will all be labeled with a little kind of cuff on them that indicates that if you have a prepaid $250 sticker on your car, you will be allowed to park at those specific meters without adding any money. And parking enforcement will look at your sticker, see that it's an unpaid meter, and then continue on to the next car. Mm-hmm. Is there another question? Any question? Yes.
Yes, I'm Ken Loomis.
If you could speak up.
1646 Mass Ave.
Okay.
Just a couple questions. One, is the depot lot going to be cash only still?
The depot lot will be cash only still.
Okay. Be really nice if it weren't. And then also, do you have some idea of the number of employee cars there are compared to the number of spaces that are available?
I think that's a good question. We don't have an exact count. We have some estimates The depot lot holds about 300, it has 300 parking spaces. And what we were talking about in terms of metrics, this will be the first time, given that we've opened the sticker program to anyone who's interested, that will have a really good gauge of the number of employees interested in parking in the center. Between the permits and the stickers, because we've reduced the cost to make the effective daily rate pretty much the cheapest possible if you're going to park every day or even occasionally in the center, that it has motivated and provided an incentive to submit your information. So one thing we're looking at doing with that is just trying to get an assessment. How many have been requested? Number one, where are they coming from? Do they, kind of collect on the east side? Do they collect on the west side of the center? And we'll also be looking at, additional parking options along with that. Can we, there's a couple things that we're trying to negotiate when we find that information about the geographic location of the employees, employees of the center. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Caitlin. I'll remind everyone to say their name.
All right. Caitlin Kelleher again. Right now, if you are an employee without a permit, you pay $2 a day to park for 8 hours or more in the depot lot. If it will come up to, will you still pay, will it be a $4 parking rate for 8 hours now and then get the addition, so say you don't get the sticker. Now, would an all-day rate be $4 because that's 8 hours times 50 cents? Or will you have to pay 50 cents for every hour that you park? Because I know right now, if you stay longer than 8 hours, you get free time in the depot lot, pretty much. Maybe we're the only people who work more than 8 hours a day.
I think Chief Core would also like to answer this. Effectively, the Board of Selectmen did increase the meter rate to the majority of the meters to 50 cents. It's currently 25 cents, but now it'll go to 50 cents for the majority of the meters. That includes meters at Waltham lot. That includes the regular rate at the depot lot. So that does go to 50 cents, and you're right. So without any sticker, without anything else, you would pay $4 for that day.
Even if you stay more than 8, I think what happens now is if you stay longer than 8 hours, you don't have to pay additional, you don't have to pay more than the $2.
I would say we have 3 weeks left before March 1. And we are trying to figure out that logistic. Arguably, somebody could stay 12 hours, and it's a $6 day. Typically, we collect $2 from somebody pulling in. We give them a receipt. If they leave before 8 hours, they get reimbursed the balance. If we did a $6 fee and we're collecting $6 from everyone coming in, there's going to be a whole lot of refunds going out the other window. So we've been discussing that with the staff who work here. We're looking for some reasonable approach to that so that those who don't have a prepaid, they don't have a pay-as-you-go, that we can do something reasonable for them coming in. And it's really 6 1, half dozen of the others. There are individual, if you don't collect the money up front, there are people who come in and they wait until the booth closes and then they leave. And they get free parking all day. But if you have somebody pay up front, and then you have to have a mechanism for refunding those. So we still have 3 weeks to work out that particular process. You left me standing.
I did, sorry. Sorry. Other questions? Yes.
Hi, Jean. Vinebrook Dental Building. I guess I would just want to clarify. So basically, you're not limiting the permits, correct? Right. So we work in a dental office building that has 4 dentists in there. dental offices and medical offices have a lot of employees. So say we're buying 9 permits just for our office, and I know other offices have more employees. If everybody buys 9, 10, 12, you're not guaranteed that our employees are going to get spots, correct?
We've never been able to guarantee a spot, but I would ask folks to look at it from the other side. If you didn't have a permit, if you didn't get a sticker, you're still going to pull in here and you're going to pay $6, $4 for parking there. Or if it was not full, then as many employees tend to do, they'll now go to a meter and feed that meter all day, and the cost of that meter plus the $10 or $20 parking ticket that they get for sitting there all day, there is going to be no perfect system. The hope is that given the volume of spaces that are available here in this parking lot, given the availability of the free parking up on Mass Ave and the other end of Lexington by the police department, parking at Waltham Street, parking at the N-Star lot, there's the hope that the number of times when there won't be any space will be significantly reduced. I can appreciate that somebody who comes to work at noontime may be challenged to find a space. I appreciate that. But there is no perfect system given the availability of the parking spaces in Lexington Center. There are times that we are full, but trying to promise a space would involve a system where you're leaving empty spaces for somebody who may or may not show up to work. And we can't do that either. Any other questions? Sure.
I was going to, Arthur Daltus again, Lexington resident. Let me just start with a suggestion. I think you might want to do some sort of satisfaction survey as you go along once or twice during the year, perhaps putting them on the cars that are parked in the lot, the ones that are on the street, people getting on and off the 76 and 62 buses and the Lexpress. Because I'm kind of two minds. I think it's good. We need to try this, I think, and figure out how to find the real balance. But this is the speech part now. As a resident, I've just gotten 2 years in a row of our land values being revalued 10% higher and the taxes along with it. We moved to Lexington because it had all these conveniences like public transportation, which we strongly endorse for environmental reasons and for safety reasons. I've worked at Hanscom, and I often, noontime would pick a bunch of guys up and ladies and bring them over in our van to have lunch, in Lexington, because I thought it was a good thing to do for the town. And of course, many times discovered it was almost impossible to find a parking space. And people saying, let's just drive over to the mall, or whatever. And I said, no, I know where some other ones are. So I would often still be able to prevail. One of the reasons why we didn't find a parking space is because my wife's car is often parked right in that lot, because she takes an hour and a half into Boston and an hour and a half out, and the best thing for her is to have the option of the 2 buses. And when she gets home at night, she doesn't want to have to walk a long way in the dark, fearful and whatever, realizing, although we have good statistics about safety in the town. But, we're taxpayers, and we, of course, want to support the businesses. So I think really you need to make sure you're surveying and see who's, happy about these changes and how it's going to work out for everyone, because it's really important to us.
Thank you. And we'll look into the survey. I think that has been on our list. We did a survey with the parking management plan. That was very insightful, but we want to actually revisit that with the businesses, so thank you. And in terms of the commuter parking situation, I think, Dave, if you would like to speak to this a little bit, it's not something that we're trying to ignore. This has been a focus on the employees of the center because that's our largest contingent currently. But we want to acknowledge the fact that, you know, the commuters come in here and they do business with the center just as well. And so trying to accommodate that balance, we want to obviously take that into consideration. I don't know if there's anything more specific you'd like to add.
As part of one of the other things we did implement recently, we're introducing parking on Mass Avenue, which Chief Corr mentioned earlier, just to the east of the Woburn, Mass intersection, also served by the 2 lines, as well as west of the Battle Green area. So we're trying to create those free spaces that are safe, accessible, and that can be used for all-day parking for commuters, visitors, and the like. So.
Remember, we were voters. And by the way, you notice your meeting is, I don't know when the other one's going to be, but you know, if you get up at 6 or 7 in the morning and take the bus and come home at 7 or 8 at night, you can't make it 8 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the evening.
Right, we had 2 options for 8 o'clock in the morning, given that some of the businesses don't open till about 10 o'clock. And then the 5 o'clock was to try to capture some more of the office employees. So those are how we picked those 2 times. And based on the Chamber of Commerce and their experience, they informed us that these would be good times as well. True, but like I said, in terms of this meeting and what our kind of first initiative with the parking and some of the parking changes that you're seeing under this pilot program, admittedly are trying to address some of the employee parking concerns as we're moving forward. Not to say that any of the other pieces will be ignored, but we're just taking that on as our first challenge. Any other questions? I know, oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Is there going to be a deadline for, I know the information that was sent out was a deadline for the $250 tickets, but if we add people through the year, would we be able to get pay as you go, or is it you get it by February 8th, or you don't get it till next year?
We had requested that everyone get their material in by yesterday, but the reality is that as you have new employees and you have turnover, or you have somebody who is away for the winter, we're going to have somebody come in April, May, June, and we're not going to draw these black and white lines and say this is what we're doing. We will work with any employee, any company in Lexington Center to get them the permits or the parking stickers they need. We will prorate it for the year. The pay-as-you-go will probably be a $15 fee all year long, but the $250 annual, if you get it in June, we'll be prorating it.
Just for you know, kind of our information, has everyone here applied for either a sticker or a permit? Anyone and doing that, planning to do that? No? Okay. Okay. I asked because part of the information that you'll submit is an email, for example, and in terms of making communication, improving communication, we'd like to put together an email list, and we'd like to continue the communication if you choose to receive information from us. So we'll probably send out one larger email just saying if you'd like to hear from us and updates, please, you know, continue to be on our list. If not, you can opt out. So there's one more question there. Jim Shaw.
What was just said just made me think about planning. I'm in Lexington Center every single day, several times a day. My office is in East Lexington, however. So I'm thinking about whether or not, you know, I need a parking pass or do I need to make provisions. I'm usually one of those schleps looking around for a parking meter that's opened up, and I try to squeeze in, and there are times that I've driven out. And it's not a criticism, it's just an observation. But for people like myself who are in the center a lot, like I say, several times a day, but actually don't need to park all day, I mean, is there another option, or I have to admit, I did come in late, so I'm not sure whether or not you discussed that kind of thing, but is there a slot in there somewhere for someone like me, and if not, maybe there should be?
To that, I guess, Jim, I'd respond to how long, what is your duration when you do come to the center? Typically, what we've done with the parking map, is if you're a long-term, even if you're infrequent, but you plan to stay here for most of the day, a pay-as-you-go sticker might actually be the best option for you. Thought I turned that off. And I think that, that gets you the dollar rate in the lot. So that would be the cheapest rate, or you would go to the free spaces. The other option is if you're in only for, a couple hours, I would go to the meter. The couple hours would be $1 at most meters. If you're at the core zone, it would be $1.50. So if it's more than that, then I would probably, on a regular basis, I think the pay-as-you-go would probably be appropriate.
Not necessarily just thinking about it in terms of economics, but keeping spaces available.
Spaces available. I guess my response to that would be just looking at the time, kind of the time usage more than anything for anyone who comes to the center. Do you have anything to add?
You are the individual who's coming into the center on a regular basis. You're driving up Mass Ave, and wouldn't it be convenient to turn and see an open space? That is the purpose of this entire program. By making spaces that are free further out on the periphery, you're going to have folks who are going to be willing to park out there that are typically employees in the center, which by making spaces available to employees on Waltham Street and Star in this lot, the police department, with no hard data whatsoever, but based on the experience of the parking enforcement in the center, we would tell you that on any given day, there's probably 30 to 50 employees parking at a meter directly in front of a business on any given day. If those employees cooperate, have an incentive to avoid parking tickets by going to the other lots, by going out to the periphery, there could be 30 to 50 spaces right by the stores, which is important for the business, important for patients at dental locations, important for you who may be coming in and out of the center for 15 or 30 minutes. Those spaces are going to be available. As one of the Board of Selectmen had said, and it struck a chord with me, sometimes the competition for the businesses in Lexington Center aren't necessarily the Burlington Mall. It's shopping online. So if somebody comes into the center and there's parking spaces available and visible, they will stop and shop in the center. If they drive through, as you spoke to, and I can't find a space, then why not go someplace else to go to a restaurant? Again, it's not a perfect solution, but we're going to try something different. The suggestion of getting input, I think, is important. We'll try to encourage. The feedback from businesses about the cost of permits was very important to the town manager, your office, the Board of Selectmen. Fees that were starting to creep up were pushed way back down in order to make it affordable for the employees to go to these lots and move away from the core area. So that's the strategy. We hope that it works, and if there's ways to improve upon it, then we're going to be looking for those ways to improve. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you, Chief Corey. Thank you, David Kucharski. Thank you, everyone. And do you have one more question? Wait, one more question.
Monday through Saturday program? Okay, that's all.
It is only a Monday through Saturday program. The hours of operation remain the same. So it's 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's correct? Correct. Hours of enforcement.
And we do not do meters and such on Sundays and holidays. That's free parking everywhere, all day.
The depot is 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. It's like a flat out.
The depot lots operations, yes, do start earlier at 7 a.m. Yeah.
The pay-as-you-go sticker, is that only allowed in depot?
Yes, the pay-as-you-go, the dollar only there. We'll be happy to answer any questions. We'll be up here. I really appreciate you taking the time. Let any of your colleagues know we'll have another meeting tomorrow at 8 a.m. And we'll also post these videos and the Q&A online on our website. Thank you so much.